Or computer.
Well, welcome everybody to another edition of Clipboard Confessional with Anthony and Bobby. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Aniano, and joining me here, as he does for all the shows, my partner, colleague, co-host, Big Cup of D, right there. So congratulations to him. My partner, colleague, and co-host. I'm losing him already. I'm losing him already. My
Oh,
buddy Bobby Wall. Bobby, what's the matter, pal? There was a big D on your cup.
oh, dude, yeah.
Oh,
For so anyone that's watching the video, yes, I have a coffee mug with a big D on it. My son got it for me because I am daddy. I had a mouthful of coffee and I was not anticipating a comment on the mug. So thank you for that.
there you go.
Almost ruined my computer.
Like I say, every time we do the show, my goal is to get you to crack. I didn't expect to get you within the first 10 seconds today. So
Well
mission
done.
accomplished. Thanks for watching, everybody. Uh,
Well done. That was close. That was
that was a
something.
good one. That would have been great. If you spit out, we would have gone viral. It would have been amazing.
Oh
It
man.
would have been amazing.
Whew.
Guy drank the D and then spit it out everywhere. There you go.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are back here, our second preview episode for the 2026 fantasy football season. Last week, if you tuned in, and we appreciate if you did, we talked some quarterbacks. Today, we'll talk some running backs. Who knows? We may end up doing two episodes on the running back position because it is an interesting position. We'll see what happens. We'll see how far we get in the next 30 minutes. As you know, Bobby and I tend to tangent a little bit.
It's a good
But
time.
that being said, my friend, you doing well today? You ready to go? Draft season's upon us, right?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I just got back from Orlando with the family. We did not do Disney. Checked out Disney Springs a bit. 4 out of 10. I don't know if you've been to Orlando, and if anyone is listening in Orlando, don't take it personally. I give it a 4 out of 10. Not going to do that again. But
Well, what is there to do in Orlando besides Disney?
right, yeah, that's the thing. And J- Orlando. July is incredibly humid and it's hot, and it's people everywhere, everywhere. So honestly, the food though, we checked out some local restaurants. Very good food, everything we got. But yeah, Orlando. Not we're mountain people, we're beach
Yeah.
people. We're not middle of Florida amusement park people. So it was a nice little trip.
There's
And
two
but
things as in our time as friends now, as we've gotten to know each other. I know there's two vacations you want to go on. One, drop you in the middle of a hunting trip and you are ecstatic. Two, drop you on an all-inclusive resort beach with a fruity drink and an umbrella, and you are equally as ecstatic. Am I
that's
right?
correct. Yes, that's correct. Yeah,
You could be, the rugged Bear Grylls, or you could be a beach princess. And if you time it right, you could do both of them within a 2 week period.
if you can finagle this trip, Anthony, I'm in. You can come along. I'll teach you how to build build a hut outside and a
Yep.
fire with two sticks.
And I don't
And
think
then I'll
anybody
teach you.
needs to help either one of us be a beach princess.
That's correct. That's correct. I'm in, dude.
Anyway,
I'm in.
there you go. I'm with you. So let's talk some football though. What do you say?
Yes.
Let's talk some running backs. Um, I don't think there's much debate at the top, right? Jameer Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. I think if you asked 100 people drafting, 50 of them would draft Jameer Gibbs one, 50 of them would draft Bijan. I think if we were in multiple leagues and we got the number one pick in multiple leagues, we would split our top pick between Jameer Gibbs and Bijan Robinson. I don't think that's up for much debate. So I'm not going to spend time there. But where I do want to talk about at the top of the rankings, Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Saquon Barkley, there's some given entities there. But I do want to talk about Christian McCaffrey first. Okay. Uh, I've seen him ranked as high as third overall. He's a first round pick. Uh, he's a first round pick that terrifies me, completely terrifies me. And to the point where I probably won't get him in any leagues. I would go Gibbs, I would go Bijan. And if that doesn't work out, I will go the wide receiver route, the Chases, the Pukas, the Amon Ra's, on and on and on and on. McCaffrey was a beast last year. There's no denying it. Led the league in total touches with 413. That's the primary reason I'm avoiding him. What's your take on McCaffrey for 2026?
Yeah, man, he's such a hard player to rank, and I have him as RB3. I'm one of the few people that are willing to take him that high. But I know I do it knowing the risk that's involved. There's 413 touches. Time and time again when a running back gets that much work, we know what happens. We saw it with Saquon. There's a huge drop off, which is fine as long as you plan for it. Even in the seasons that are cut short for McCaffrey, he's still an absolute monster until he goes down, which seems to be inevitable. I mean, he's got 5 seasons averaging at least 20 fantasy points per game, which is absurd. So if I end up in a position where Bijan and Gibbs are gone, and Chase is gone, Puka, like you said, there's top receivers, and I'm sitting there staring, and CMC is my highest ranked player on the board. I know if and when I click that name, I'm going to have some ground to make up in my running back room to make sure that I cover my losses if or when he goes down.
As we prepared in the wind, throughout the offseason, this is the third time that Christian McCaffrey has led the league in touches. Okay. In 2019, 23 years old, playing for the Carolina Panthers, he led the league with 403 touches. The next year, in year 2020, at the age of 24, he played in 3 games and had a total of 76 touches. He not only, at least Saquon was on the field last year, right? Like McCaffrey was not even on the field. Then, right, he sheds the injury prone label. He comes back. 2023, just 3 years ago, he once again, at 27 years old, leads the league in touches for the 49ers now with 339. What happens the following year, 2024, for the 49ers at the age of 28? He plays 4 games and only touches the football 65 times. The 2 previous times he has led the league in touches, the following year, he has not gotten over 80 touches. He has not played more than 4 games. He's now led the league in touches a third time. To me, that is too trendy for me to ignore that twice he's led him and twice his body couldn't respond the following year, Bob.
So what's your overall? You're in the first round, okay? Where do you pull the trigger on Christian McCaffrey? Pick what?
All right, running back. Let's say running back. The two studs, right? Bijan and
Gibbs.
Gibbs. Then
Taylor's
you go
gone.
down the wide receiver role, right? It's Puka, it's Chase, it's JSN, it's Amon Ra, in no particular order. In order, um, you'll see Justin Jefferson go in the first round. You're already talking, and somebody may pull the trigger on Trey McBride early.
Let's say you're picking 11. You're picking 11 and CMC's there.
I guess you have to.
So then what do you
But
do?
then if I go CMC at 11 and then take a running back and then draft, in my head, I go, okay, I got the running back one. I got my stud running back. I proceed to draft as normal. Other running backs, other wide receivers. The downside to it is I'm drafting his backup pretty early. Because I
Which
will
is
say that that's the problem. That's the problem. Because what's happened in the past is, Christian McCaffrey, the 49er offense has made unknown running backs very effective. Eli Mitchell, who? Isaac Guerrero, who? When they got their opportunity filling in for McCaffrey, they became must-start fantasy starters. Right now, so I guess I would wrap this up this way. If we were drafting today, I think I can't draft McCaffrey because I don't know who that number 2 is. My last draft, and it's a draft I host, is Friday, September 4th. It's literally the season starts the following Wednesday. On that night, McCaffrey could be in the mix because by then you would assume the depth chart is a little clearer. Whether it's James Jordan, or Jordan James, or whether it's the rookie Black, Kalon Black they just drafted, or it's Garendo, who they're all still there. You got to think Black would be the leading guy. He was the third round pick, but who knows? James was a fifth rounder last year. On September 4th, I'd like to say I'm able to draft Christian McCaffrey then because I have a clearer idea of his backup is. If I'm drafting today, July 21st, that's awfully tough to do, don't you think?
Yeah, it's certainly, like I said, it's if you are willing to click that name, Christian McCaffrey, you got to be willing to embrace a whole lot of risk there. And I listen, I had Christian McCaffrey last year. When you have him and he's on, my
Ooh,
gosh, it feels good.
yeah. Yeah. He's a league winner. But like your other move then, let's say you're the end of the first round, 11, 12-team league, you're drafting 11. The other problem is your other strategy then is you say, all right, I'm taking McCaffrey, but now 1, 2, 3 picks later, right? 12, 13, 14. Now you're taking who? James Cook, Jonathan Taylor. Is it forcing your hand to go 2 running backs? And you certainly cannot go Christian McCaffrey and then Saquon Barkley, right? Like if you go McCaffrey in 11, Saquon's out in the second round,
Yeah, play it safe.
right? Ashton Genty, if he's there, maybe okay, but so what's your play? Do you worry about the backup 49er running back, or are you willing, if you go McCaffrey in the first round, to draft, that second tier running back, the Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Genty, Kenneth Walker now at Kansas City? Are you willing to draft one of those guys and start your draft running back?
Yeah, if I end up towards the end of that round, and I have Christian McCaffrey, I am probably going to lean heavily on running back with my next pick in the second round. Because if you're willing to swing for the fences, you got to be ready to smack a double on your next at bat. And I want to play, I want that James Cook, those guaranteed basically double digit touchdowns in that Buffalo offense with Josh Allen. I need to get someone safe like that. And so if you look at the numbers from last year, I compared it like wide receiver, because there's always this debate, go wide receiver early, go running back early. So last year, the wide receiver one scored 310 points in a half PPR. The running back one scored 366. So we're talking 56 more points for McCaffrey than for Puka. And then you go down, and I skipped to some spots to the RB6 and the wide receiver six. RB6 was 286. Wide receiver six was 218. So now it's still a huge gap between where the running backs are finishing, where the receivers are finishing. And that continues all the way down the line until we get to right around the 30 spot. So wide receiver 30 outscored running back 30, and that's where the switch makes. So if you are looking to make up some ground positionally, wide receivers later in your draft, you're going to have a better chance of doing that.
You're not, if you go running back, you're at the end of the first round. How concerned are you with filling the wide receiver position there?
Very. As a matter of fact, if I go running back, that's pretty much for me personally, probably, unless I get an unbelievable value, it's going to take me out of the onesie positions. I'm not going to be able to take a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson early. I'm not going to be able to take a Bowers or a McBride, something like that. I'm going to have to wait on those positions because I'm really going to have to bolster my wide receiver room in the third, fourth, fifth, sixth rounds. Like we're going to have to make a run on that wide receiver group.
Fair enough. All right. Fair enough. It's interesting to see how that shakes out. Now, you mentioned Jonathan Cook, Jonathan Taylor. Again, I love Taylor or Cook, those guys, to use a phrase for baseball season, back of the baseball card. I'm not worried about them. Ashton Genty, though, with the Raiders, year 2. Last year, a total of 1,600 yards rushing and receiving, 278 carries. He did have 71 catches as well, 11 total touchdowns. How much do you think Genty improves on the season he just had new coaching staff, improvements to the offense. Hopefully, a healthy Brock Bowers does make a difference there, no doubt about it. What do you expect from Genty, or are you still majorly concerned about that offensive line?
I love him. He's my
Oh,
RB4.
okay.
Yes, right behind McCaffrey we just talked about. So last year, my gosh, one of the worst offensive lines in the league and the worst coaching staff in football.
Yeah,
You got Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator. He's out. Pete Carroll, head coach. He's out. Pete Carroll hired his own son to be the offensive line coach. He's out. You bring in Clint Kubiak, who has been, whispers of a head coaching job for a few years now. His whole family, everybody, his dad, his brothers, everybody's a good coach. He just wins a Super Bowl with Seattle. And he comes in and he's not like a rah-rah guy. He's not a Nick Sirianni. He's not a Jim Harbaugh. He's quiet, but he's so detail oriented. And he can turn this running back. When I say running back room, I really just mean Genty because he's the only one. Uh, he can turn this dude into an absolute superstar. He was what, RB13 last year, I think, in half point PPR. He had 2 games of over 30 points. There's an enormous ceiling. This is a Jonathan Taylor type ceiling with this guy. He's going to have better quarterbacks. His offensive line's going to be better. The team should score more points, so we got more opportunities for touchdowns. Last year, I want to give credit. I can't remember if it was a fantasy footballers or maybe the Ringer. They threw this stat out there, which is pretty incredible. Since 2010, Ashton Genty last year ranked 734th out of 737 running backs in yards before contact. So this dude was getting smashed behind the line. Now, to build onto that stat, once Genty got a single yard downfield, he had the most yards after contact in the league last year. Once he was able to get a yard downfield,
wow.
Kubiak is going to open up this offense and allow for that to happen. And I am to the moon on Ashton Genty. I was hoping you didn't
Well,
bring him up because the guys I play in my leagues, they listen to the show. So now the cat's out of the bag. But what
there it
can you
is.
do?
And don't underestimate the fact, where did the Raiders spend money this offseason? They signed left guard Spencer Burford from the San Francisco 49ers, and I think one of the best signings of the year, Tyler Lindenbaum, the center from the Baltimore Ravens.
One of
So
the
they
best
they
centers in the league.
identified the weakness, they fixed the weakness, they start the seasons with Cousins. Eventually, Mendoza takes over. Bowers is healthy. They signed Jalen Naylor to be a bigger bodied wide receiver with Trey Tucker. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be better. And Genty should be the feature player there. So to me, I agree with you. I would push him up. You have him as 4. I can make a case of taking him before McCaffrey just because I have less injury
Sure.
concern there. To me, he's a first round pick. So Genty, for me, the upside there is through the roof. Now, what about Kenneth Walker going to Kansas City? Good, bad, or a push?
You know, Kenneth Walker is my guy. We had this talk last year. And had Zach Charbonnet not stolen every rushing touchdown that Seattle had to offer, well, I would have been right. We would have been good. That did not happen, obviously. Charbonnet ended up with 12 rushing touchdowns on like 700 something rushing yards. It was 800 yards. It was absurd. I am super pumped about Kenneth Walker yet again. Um, I know last year's lowest points per game of his career, but he had a career best 4.6 yards a carry. Love it. We're going to Kansas City. Who's there? Isaiah Pacheco. Nope, not anymore. He's gone. They have nobody there to run the football. No Kareem Hunt. Not worried about that. Um, the one thing, and some people love Kenneth Walker, some people don't. The one thing that people are not talking about enough, I'm not sure I've heard anyone say it. Eric Bieniemy is back.
Yeah.
He was a running back in what, did he go to Colorado back in the 90s, and he was
Yep.
a running back in the NFL for a while. Then he was a coach. He was a running back coach.
And he was
So
on the
let me
head he was on the head coach track, and then
right.
it fell off.
Yes, something's weird about him. I don't know. But when he was running back coach back all the way back in Minnesota, 2006, Chester Taylor. Remember that name? Honestly, I don't really remember it. Chester Taylor ran for 1,200 yards when Bieniemy was his coach. Then they drafted Adrian Peterson. Of course, he goes to Kansas City. He's got Jamal Charles. Wonderful. 2016, he had Spencer Ware rush for over
Yep.
900 yards in 14 games. Kareem Hunt. Nobody knew who Kareem Hunt was. 1,300 yards as a rookie. Damian Williams, old Shady McCoy, both averaged over 4.5 yards a carry for this guy. Dude, the enemy is back. The running game, that's what he does. And the running game is going to be great. Kenneth Walker is so talented, and I cannot wait to see what he does in this Kansas City offense.
Fair enough. I agree with you. Walker always an injury concern, but who isn't at the running back position in the NFL? Like that's
Yeah,
just the reality of it.
but he also played all 17 games last year.
He did. He did. He played. It was a long season. Remember, going then through the playoffs, obviously Super Bowl MVP. So, let's see what happens there. Let's talk about Omarion Hampton here for the Chargers. Another fantastic spot, a good offense. I think it took them a while. It took them longer than we wanted to give the reins to Omarion Hampton. And then when they did, he got hurt, right? Next thing you know, we were talking about Kamani Vidal. Um, I'm not worried about Kamani Vidal. That Chargers offense has pieces. Omarion Hampton, last season finished with a total of 737 yards, 4.4 yards per carry on 124 carries. Had 32 receptions as well. I think sky's the limit here for Omarion Hampton. And I could see him getting pushed up front half of the second round in drafts. I think there's that much upside there. If I draft Christian McCaffrey, if I could double tap him with Omarion Hampton, I feel pretty darn good about my situation. I think that's a good spot to be in. What do you think about the other second year running back in this draft class?
Yeah, he's my RB8 right now. If you
Yeah,
take out his first two NFL games that he had, you're a rookie coming to the NFL, you gotta get your feet wet a little bit. You take those out, he's RB8 in points per game.
yeah,
So, right. So he's right there. I think he's got top five overall running back upside with Mike McDaniel running this offense here. You saw what he did with Devon Achane. And, Achane and Hampton are different players. To be honest, Keaton Mitchell, the backup that they got from Baltimore, and then ECU right here down the street from me. Keaton Mitchell's more of an Achane type player. So unbelievable wheels on him, but he's not an NFL starting caliber running back. He's not going to be able to take that workload. And everyone knows Harbaugh wants to run the rock. So I love Hampton a lot. And the Chargers as a team only had 10 rushing touchdowns last year as a whole. And one of the unstickiest stats are touchdowns. They fluctuate. They can fluctuate quite a
yeah.
bit. So I can't imagine with Jim Harbaugh and Mike McDaniel running the show, they're going to be 25th in the NFL in rushing touchdowns scored. That number is going to go up, and you got to think Hampton's going to be the beneficiary there.
Well, Omarion Hampton or HN. You're on the clock, second round.
I want Hampton. That dude, I am so afraid of that Miami offense. And
So
look, honestly, hats off to them because when teams rebuild, they never do a full rebuild. They never actually tear anything down to the nuts and bolts. They're doing it in Miami, buddy. They got
yeah,
nobody to catch the ball. They brought in Malik Willis, who say what you want about him. He's got his believers, but I don't think he's a starting caliber NFL quarterback. And Achan is it. So I can't decide if I think Achan is going to be a stud because they have no one else to give the ball to him, and it's just going to be Achan run to the right, Achan catch to the left all game, every game, or if defense is going to be like, all right, we're putting nine guys in the box. We're going to take out
yeah.
Achan. You
That's
beat
my
us through
guess.
the air.
Is you're going to
Right.
get a ton of touches and just not must, he's going to go five catches for, 18 yards, and then occasionally break one. I'll let somebody else draft HN. I'm with you. Omarion Hampton or Derrick Henry.
I want Hampton again. I got Henry right after him, I believe, in my rankings.
Any concerns of Henry age yet? Or will Derrick Henry tell us when he's getting old?
Dude, Derrick Henry's it's gonna turn into Chuck Norris jokes. You know what I mean? It's like Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups, he pushes the world down. Like this is
Yep.
Derrick Henry's entering that realm. And I
Yeah.
gave up on Derrick Henry's age like 5 years ago.
Me too.
So I'm not doing it now. He's my RB10, and I'll take him
Yeah.
all day, every day in the second round.
If the year I draft Derrick Henry is the year too late, I can live with that.
Yeah.
I can live with that because there's no reason not to buy into it. All right, I want to do a little comparison here. You're on the clock, round two. Maybe it's early, late round two, and you have your choice between rookie running backs, Jeremiah Love, okay, and Jadarian Price are both available. Is it the no-brainer that some people think it is for take Jeremiah Love? Or
Yeah.
and I've created in my own head at least a reason to say Jadarian Price outperforms Jeremiah Love. So maybe it's not the same round. Let's say it's second round Jeremiah Love, or you could get Jadarian Price in round 4 or round 5. Do you skip Love to go get Price and hope then to get Price later on? I think that's a better way for me to phrase it.
Yeah. I've certainly not taken Jadarian Price 3 rounds above ADP. But if that's the case, if I have to choose between Love in the second and Price in the fifth, I'm going to go Price in the fifth. I don't.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Love is unbelievably talented, and me taking Price has nothing to do with the talent of either back. They're both good. Both came from Notre Dame. But listen, the Cardinals might not win a football game, and they have one of the worst rushing football teams in the league last year. And I know they got a new head coach. You know who their offensive coordinator is?
Remind me.
Nathaniel Hackett. Ugh,
Yeah.
gross. I don't want him anywhere near this team. That being said, Mike LaFleur's coming in. Maybe he's going to call plays or something. I hope it's not Hackett. But either way, Michael Carter led this team in rushing last year with 333 rushing yards, and they've somehow added running backs to this backfield. They have 4 guys that that could see significant work. Right? We got Jeremiah Love, we got Tyler Algier, which they just brought in this year. I mean, that poor guy, you get
Does Tyler
drafted.
Algier ruin? Does Tyler Algier ruin Love's rookie year the way he frustrated people who drafted Bijan? Remember that?
Right. Yes, and maybe he does. I feel so bad. He came into the NFL. He's an RB. He's an RB1, like for an NFL team, right? Starting guy. Has a great
10,000
rookie
yard season.
season.
Yep.
Right. Next year they take Bijan Robinson. Ah, well, that stinks. A couple years go by, he ends up as a free agent. I'm going to go to the Cardinals. I know they have James Conner and Trey Benson already there, but I'm the guy. And then they go and they draft Jeremiah. They draft another Bijan Robinson. I feel so bad for him. But they still have James Conner there, who he played 2 full games last year, scored double-digit fantasy points in each one. Like, I don't know how this guy keeps doing it. And like I mentioned Trey Benson a minute ago, I mean, they have maybe one of them moves. Maybe we trade one in the preseason. A running back goes down somewhere. We get rid of one of these guys, but still, the smart play. You don't have a quarterback. Jacoby Brissett is your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
You This is supposed to be, and I don't believe in all this. There's going to be 7 first-round quarterbacks next year. I'm not buying it. That being said, there's going to be someone. So the smart play is to let Jeremiah Love take this slow. Don't put wear and tear on this young running back's body for absolutely no reason. Let Algier carry the load. Get Jeremiah Love second half of the season. Give him a couple more carries, but we don't got to overload this guy with work. So I would much rather take the chance on Price. All he's got to do is beat out Emmanuel Wilson in Seattle right now
Yeah.
to be the guy until like November when Charbonnet comes back, if that's even then. So I'd much rather have Price.
Listen, the math for me is very simple. Who do you want? The starting running back of the Arizona Cardinals or the starting running back of the Seattle
Mm.
Seahawks? Right? I
In a
and
vacuum, yeah.
I don't disagree with anything you said. Now, in a dynasty league, Jeremiah Love, absolutely.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
I'm not debating that. Don't get mad at me. For one season and one season only, though, and I don't think it's outrageous, and I've said this in other places, I would not be shocked if Jadarian Price outperforms Jeremiah Love this season. It's a better team context. It's a better opportunity. He may get more touches per game, and with that offense, you should have the opportunity to do more with those touches. So let that ADP stay where it is. Give me Jadarian Price in round 4. I don't. If you were listening, ignore everything we said. Let the ADP stay where it is, and let me get Jadarian Price in round 4. I'm all for that.
I
All
have
for that.
love. I have love right now as my RB 17. So
Where do you have
I don't know
Price?
what it price is a lot lower than that. Let me look. He's 31. I'm probably
Wow.
not going to get love
Love's
be
not
simply
lasting until the 17th running back.
correct. Right. That's what I'm saying. And I'm cool with that. And honestly, even if I'm sitting there staring at him, like right now I have ETN at RB 19. So I got Jeremiah Love and Travis Etienne close. Um, if I'm staring at them, I'm probably going to take what I think is the safer pick in ETN rather than, bet on Arizona being dumb and really trying to beat the brakes off of Jeremiah Love in a wasted rookie season.
No. I want to talk about one more running back for this show. And I definitely think we're going to do another show on running backs because there's
Yeah.
so many other things we can talk about.
Yeah.
But there's one more running back I want to talk about, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars running back, Bashal Tuten. I think people have him grossly underrated. Outside of number 20, it seems crazy to me that he's there. Um, Jacksonville, a team on the rise, didn't even flinch, didn't even consider bringing back ATN. ATN hit free agency, and it was just bye-bye. See you later. We got the next guy up here. And the truth is, in the postseason, if you remember that game against the Buffalo Bills, right? Didn't he have like 4 catches for like over 4 receptions, four carries? I'm sorry, for like over 50 yards. Like it was a monster performance. They just didn't give him the ball enough. Um, Last season, 307 yards rushing, 5 rushing touchdowns. He had 2 more
Wow.
touchdowns in the passing game.
Did you say 307 rushing yards in the whole season? Wow. That's
What? You're not
impressive.
in on two?
No, not in on Tootin. You're crazy. You oh man, that's fighting words, huh? You ready to throw down, big boy? Keep
So where do
going.
you have
Keep
him ranked?
no, keep building the 307 rushing yards. You really got me locked in here. Keep
Yeah,
building them
because
up.
he only got 83 carries.
And whose fault is that?
Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne had one of the best seasons of his career. But the Jacksonville Jaguars knew. They said, "Good, thank you, Etienne. Thank you for a fantastic season. Shuffle off to New Orleans because we got the next guy up here. I'm not worried about Chris Rodriguez of the Washington Commanders. Don't make that face because Chris Rodriguez couldn't beat out Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt last year. Like, Chris Rodriguez had every opportunity to be the RB1 for the Washington Commanders, and he couldn't do it. So now he's going to walk into Jacksonville and be a star? Stop it. Just stop it. So where do you have Bashal Tuten, who, if he's sitting there in the 3rd round, I will gobble him up every single time, like you drank your cup of tea earlier. Where do you have Tuten ranked?
Gobble up all the Tootin you want, buddy. I got him at running back 29, and I got his teammate and backfield mate Rodriguez at 36. Not too much difference in them, but I'll be honest with you, I probably have them backwards by the season's end. I'll
Oh
probably
my
have that
God.
backwards. I know,
That's
I know.
nonsense. That's
No, it's okay.
nonsense.
All right, so let me ask you, what is it that you love? Is it now look, 312 running back opportunities left with ETN. So yes, 100%. We got a big hole to fill here.
Big
You
hole to
mentioned me
fill.
307 rushing yards. I'm not sure you love that. 79 receiving yards. That's almost good for a game, I guess. But that's a
January
whole
11th,
season.
2026, in a
Mhm.
27-24 loss to the Buffalo Bills. Tuten only got the ball 4 times. He averaged 12.8 yards per carry in that game. And then he had add in kick returns. I thought it was receptions. I apologize. But he was explosive in kick returns, over 16 yards per return. So we had 12.8 yards per carry. And anybody who watched that game sat there watching the game going, give Tuten the ball more. And then for some reason, they didn't. Then you look at other games, right? Week 2 against the Bengals, where he got 8 carries, 5.3 yards per carry. Against the Rams, 4.4 yards per carry. Against the Chargers, when ATN was out, 15 carries, 74 yards, a touchdown, 4.9 yards per carry. All right. When given the opportunity, and it wasn't many, this guy who's cranking out 4.5 yards per carry. The
If you
problem was there were too many games where the Jacksonville Jaguars just ran with ATN, and ATN deserved it. He was the veteran, he was the guy. But Tuten's in a spot now where I don't take Chris Rodriguez serious as a backup. That's for sure. Because Chris Rodriguez was on a team where the opportunity to become the featured running back was there. It was there. And he couldn't do it.
if you
He
keep
couldn't
scroll
do it.
if you keep scrolling down that list of yards per carry, you get to the season total, and it's on the season he averaged 3.7 yards a carry.
Because he
Uh,
had
on
games where he had 3 carries. He had games where he
on
had 3 carries.
Well, it seems like he only got 2 yards out of those three carries. He had two double-digit fantasy weeks on the year. I know he's not getting the ball much. It's ETN show. Fine. You know what? Let's forget it. Let's move on to Chris Rodriguez, who you have poo-pooed here for the last
Mister,
5 minutes.
3 years in the league, three
Yep.
years in the league,
Mhm.
7 starts in 3 years.
Yeah.
His career, he's got 920 total yards in 3 seasons.
Well,
Washington, which hasn't had a running game in that time, Brian Robinson, Krosky Merritt, none. Chris Rodriguez couldn't beat out those All-Pro Hall of Famers. But now he's going to go to Jacksonville and be the guy. Where
what
where
was
does that come from?
you got Rodriguez up there? I don't know if you can see his yards per carry. It was let's see, three.
4.5 last year.
Oh yeah, four and
Four and
okay,
a half.
almost a full yard more than Tuten. And he had twice as many double-digit fantasy point games and he played less games than Tuten. We're dealing with some injuries and stuff. That's fine. I get it. Last point. Who was Chris Rodriguez's coach in college?
That's a great. I honestly wouldn't know. So tell me.
Oh, he went to Kentucky, and Liam Cohen was his head coach in
Yeah.
college. And then Liam Cohen went out and got him in free agency to bring him in. You don't go get your guy that you've already coached if you don't know he can perform in your offense. Now, here's what I'll give you about Tuten. Rodriguez doesn't catch the ball. Tuten can.
No.
I mean, he had a whopping 10 catches last year, but he could do it this year. So I see it playing out. I don't want to say a 50-50 split. If we're looking at carries, I think Rodriguez leads this team. If we look at total touches, now Bashal Tuten's getting into the conversation. We got to look at goal line work. My man Chris Rodriguez is 5'11, 224. He's going to get those goal line carries. So it's going to come to how many times he can fall into the end zone versus Bashal Tuten. I think they're pretty close. Like I said in my rankings, only six spots apart,
So you're
which
not drafting either one of them as an RB2, though.
I don't want either one as an RB2. I'll take them both as an RB3 though.
Rodriguez went on in a run last year between week 10 and week 16, started 5 games in a row. His high rushing yardage in those 5 games was at Miami. So keep in mind, you could have probably run for 45 yards that day against Miami. 15 carries for 79 yards and a touchdown. That was his best game of the year last year. 79 yards.
Which is exactly
With
how
the
many
opportunity to
receiving
be the
yards Tuten
feature
had on the whole
guy.
year. Say it again.
What's that?
I said 79 yards. That's exactly how many receiving yards Tuten had on the whole season. But what were you saying? I missed that last thing.
Okay, we'll see. There may be a bottle of booze on who outperforms who this
Um,
season.
this is great. We should have done this we did this just a gentleman's bet on Jacoby Myers and Rashid Shaheed. Remember that? Who was going to outperform which one?
Who won that bet?
Me, I said Jacoby Myers.
You said Myers. All right.
Yes, you're silly.
Do I get point? Oh no, he got traded. Yeah, man. What do you? All right. Anyway, listen, this has been fun.
It's
We
a good
we
time, man.
spent 35, 40 minutes and we covered I think about 10 running backs. So we have a lot more at the running back position I want to talk to you about. I want to talk uh Cam Scatterbo, Quinshawn Junkins. I want to talk Brees Hall, the Rams situation, the Cowboys situation. So much to still talk about. So we'll run this back again in a few days. We'll run another running back show back at you. So Bob, my friend, as always, this was fantastic. Fun as always, and I appreciate you finding some time to get together and do this.
Absolutely, man. Let's do it again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, everybody, for watching Clipboard Confessional with Bobby and Anthony. And like I said, tune into episode 3 when we release that one. We'll talk more running backs as well, getting you ready for the 2026 fantasy football season. Enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy your summers, my friend. We'll talk soon.
You're the man. See ya.